What's up, guys? This is Jen from Ink Insomniac. So in my video today, this is the video where I've promised everybody excuse me, that I was going to mix my paints again on camera in a more in-depth demonstration. So this is like take 2 for me, because last video my little cell phone holder kept tilting, and finally I just got so angry with it, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do the video over. So, luckily you don't have to see that, because I got really angry. I have my little temper tantrum. But, so yeah, I just took that video and I was like, delete. Anyway, I mixed my white in that video. So, I use a spaghetti jar. Okay? This, I don't know. I'm going to try to look through the lens and see if you guys can see it. It is a little fuzzy, but right here it says 4 ounces. Then it says 8, 12, 16, so on and so forth. This is a 24-ounce pasta jar. I think the norm of them are 24 ounce. The normal size pasta jar is 24 ounces unless you buy, you know, one of the bigger ones or whatnot. But I'm not sure if all of them have the etching on the side, which is just awesome because, you know, 1 part paints right here, 2 parts Floetrol's right here. I do 2.5 parts Floetrol, so 1 part paint to here, 2 parts Floetrol to here. I fill it to about there, and then I can either use that last little gap and divvy it up, or just not do anything at all. Or these are 5.5 ounces. So after I mix this, if I just really want to go quickly, I can do 1 part paint to my 2.5 parts Floetrol, which I also did in the other video, and I marked it. So my 1 part paint was to the top of that line, okay, and then my Floetrol, my 2.5 parts of Floetrol, which I I have measured it. I'm trying to save you guys the heartache here, but yep, I did sit there with a ruler and I marked off what was 1 part and then 2.5 parts. Initially I started off with 1 part paint and then the 2 parts Floetrol, but I was using, psychologically, I was using too much water, and you know, it's really just a, you know, if you get one of those little pipette things or like an eyedropper, it's really just a tiny, you know, couple drops of water, really. More of like, I don't even want to say a splash, because you really don't even need that much. And then I also add alcohol to it to help the bubbles. So when the alcohol evaporates, I mean, you know, there is a little water mixed in it as well. So for the longest time I was just using way too much water, and my paints were drying so much thinner than what they needed to. So it was giving it like a watercolored look, and I just don't like that. I like my colors to be thick and bold and, you know, heavily pigmented. And I don't use resin. I have my animals here. I know that they wouldn't be able to put up with the fumes, so I already have to take precautions to make sure that they're okay with just the acrylics that I'm doing. So I have a parrot that you can't even use like air freshener, hairspray, soaps. Like I have to use Murphy's or oil soap around her. It's like down to the basic minimum, you know, soap and water is about the extent of it. So I always have a fan going. I always have a window open. I always have, you know, she's like 3 rooms over. The vents are closed. You know, I do lots of stuff to take precautions for that. That's another thing. So if you guys do have animals or birds and you're thinking about getting into this, you just, you know, just be smart about it, because you could really hurt them. And that is so not my intentions to do at all. I would be heartbroken. Anyway, so moving right along, the 1 part paint to 2.5 parts Floetrol. It really fills up this 5.5 ounce cup. So just carefully stir it. Once you get it mixed up, then put the splash of alcohol in, mix it again, then put the splash of water in. I am going to mix another color just so I can show you guys again how, because I did it in my Tuscan tile pour that I did mix some paint in there, but I really wanted to show you guys how I did it on a larger scale. And then now that I've been using these with the lids, I've got some medical issues going on, and I have good days and bad. And for the longest time, I was trying to pour every single day because I wanted to get better at it. And if you guys are anything like me, it did not go well in the beginning. And I know there's a bunch of you out there, because I belong to at least a dozen groups, and every day I see the same complaint. I'm not getting cells. I'm not able to produce any cells at all. My cells are broken. My paints are running off my canvas. I've got mud, you know. So I have developed a system that works for me. So I have no problem sharing it with you. Hopefully it works. I really hope it works for you. I don't know if it boils down to your climate, elevation. You know, I live in a very humid climate. I live very close. The ocean is eye distance from my house. Well, it's like the mouth of the Delaware Bay, where it opens up into the Atlantic. So, you know, I'm constantly surrounded by water and wind and marsh and humidity and mosquitoes, and I can go on and on and on and complain. But anyway, so if you lived in a dry climate, I don't know if that would work for you. But anyway, let's get this done. So I got a couple cups here. These are 1 ounce shot glasses. So you can always, when in doubt, you can always use this and fill it up with paint, and then go back and fill it up twice with Floetrol. You can always do 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol to start and see if that works for you. And then you can either go up or down. You know, I've actually known people that do equal parts, 1 part paint and 1 part Floetrol, and that's how they do it. Financially, I would crash and burn under the thought of that. Over the thought of that. But, so 1 ounce shot glasses. 3 ounce, these are like bathroom cups that, you know, you just have a little dispenser and little paper cups, and after you brush your teeth and everything. So you could always use these too. You know, right here is 1 part, and then all the way up is 2 parts, and that's it. So here I also marked then the pasta jar. These, I was a bartender, so I know how to visually gauge the volume of something. It did not come easily, but in time, I promise you, you will get the same way. Like, I can shake this, and because it's making a muffled, like, it's a lot different to, you know what I mean? That's a lot more runnier than this, but I have got it down to where I know what things sound like, and I know if that, I basically, if my site were to go tomorrow, I probably would be able to do this without being able to see, just because of how much I've mixed things consistently now for a while. Some people were saying they were getting the squeeze bottles and mixing all their paints in there. That was awesome. 88 cents for a condiment bottle is way too steep for me. So these were $1 for 2. So they were 50 cents a piece. I got a couple of them, but even then that was just too expensive. So Wish has quite a few things for cheap. I don't know if they're cheap, like, you know, cheap in quality or not, or how well they work, but I do know that there is a bunch of condiment bottles floating around out there that are just absolute junk. So before you spend your money, make sure that you make sure it's not junk, that you can actually consistently reuse it over and over and over again. That's the ultimate goal. That is the reason why I've gone to the pasta jars. Let's face it, glass is never going to wear out unless you drop it or you use some kind of crazy glass-eating chemical, which we're not. But like my Floetrol bottle, this guy has stuck around with me since the beginning of it all. And no, Floetrol does not come in polka dots. This is my nylon on top. For the longest time, I was not using a nylon, and everybody was saying, oh, I pour through a funnel, or I use the nylon, and I was just like, why? And then one day, I ran my hand across my paintings, and it was like, like Morse code, and I was like, wow. Yep, gotta change that method. So it's a continuous learning experience, you know? You learn what works and discard what doesn't, and then you move on. And a lot of people are getting so frustrated, like just ready to give up. Then don't give up. I mean, I can show you, I'm not going to do it in this video, but I will do another video, and I will show you sequentially my artwork. And, you know, the first, I don't know, half dozen pours, well, the first pour I didn't get sales at all. The second pour I got a little bit. The third pour I got sales, and then they went away. And then that was happening for a while. And then, like, the fourth, fifth, and sixth pour, I had to do like 2 or 3 pours back to back because I wasn't making enough. There is a document of the ounces of paint you should be using per size of canvas. If you will leave me a comment, I will be more than happy to send you the document. It so far has not let me down. For this today, I know it does not include how many ounces to use on a MDF Dolphin. But I do know that I did pineapples very similar to this size. And I used a 3-ounce cup on top of covering my background with quinacridone magenta, and then I used the 3-ounce cup and did a flip cup on it, and that covered well, the top part of it, where, you know, your pineapple, like the green part of the pineapple, that I covered in gold, and then I did my flip cup, but the 3-ounce cup did cover most of it. So ultimately, this gets really thin down here and then thicker. So I believe a 3-ounce cup is going to be enough. If it's not, I'll add a little more. It's okay. You know, you have to be able to know how to react in a situation like that. You know, if something doesn't go right, you don't have enough paint, you have too much paint, you don't, you know, whatever the reason, what is your contingency plan to keep it from, you know, crashing and burning? And that basically, as long as you come locked and loaded with, you know, a backup plan, then you should be all right no matter what. So for my Prism Violet, I'm going to make it in the 5.5 ounce cup. Yes. So you guys can at least see the ratio firsthand. Because the other cup that I did with the white, it was using the Artist Loft Flow acrylic, which is a little more runnier than the, I don't know, like a Liquitex Basic White, or the other white that I initially used was, it's Premier by Nicole. It doesn't say that, but it does on the back. It's Artist Acrylic. You know, it really dried chalky. So I'm really trying to get away from this and go to the Artist Loft Flow acrylic. I like the Artist Loft line a lot better than Premier by Nicole. So, like I said, it all boils down to preference. Now the black, I have used Artist Acrylic, and it's fine. I don't mind it. But I also use, these are 17 fluid ounce sparkling water bottles. You know, like the bottles that have, carbonated water. And they're really, you know, they're tough bottles. Unlike these guys, like I said, I can't hold on to anything. Hear that? They will crack over time, and especially with these chemicals in it, they're wearing down as we speak. So these little particle board, MDF particle boards, I also primed them. The Dolphins have been primed 3 times. They had some kind of like glitter text kind of thing going on. This is 1, 2, 3 primer. It claims you don't have to sand it. I still sanded it. There's no way I would have been able to get that smooth of a surface without sanding it. So, I think it's every 30 minutes. Might be, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me just check. Yep, 1 hour. Okay, it dries in 30 minutes to the touch, but you can recoat again in an hour. Alright, so let's get this Prism Violet going. Okay, so Prism Violet. What you want to do is, with the 5.5 ounce cup, there's just a tiny lip right in here. You want to go, it almost looks fuzzy when you look at it, and there's another ring. If you move your finger along it, it actually makes that squeak, like, I don't know if you can hear that, but you just want to cover the bottom with your paint. So going around like that, that might be it right there. Yep, that's all it is, really. Maybe just a hair more. Okay, just like, well, let me see, let me make sure you're looking exactly what I am. That much. Where it has gone up the sides, don't worry about that, but that's really what you're looking for. Okay? That's your 1 part paint. This is a lot, you know, wider of a cup. Your 2 parts Floetrol, and then I do, you know, the half. Comes to like right about there. Okay. Then stir it up. I just love this color. There's just something about this color that just brings happiness. Just orange does this to me too, but it's just such a rich, pretty color. I also get in the groove down in here because a lot of paint will collect in there, and then I move my stick along the bottom. I'll even like come up the sides like this and just knock whatever paint has collected and just kind of twist my cup and push it all down, and then, you know, scrape the sides again. The other thing, a lot of people don't know to do this. Scrape your stick. There is so much paint stuck on your stick. Okay? Oops. I'm throwing paint here again. And then scrape your sides. There's a little groove, a little notch around here. There is just no way you're going to get all of your paint. Oh my gosh. That would have been so bad. I'd have been so mad. All right. So there you have it. And then, like I said before, sometimes this is enough for people. There we go. Just a real minute splash of alcohol. Just like that. Sorry, maybe just a teeny bit more. There. Like a drizzle, basically. And then stir it up. And water Floetrol mix. A splash as well. If you really want to get technical, it's probably an 1/8 to the max of a 1/4 teaspoon. Probably not even that much, but definitely an 1/8. And then stir it up. When you check your viscosity on your stick, okay, hold your stick straight up and let the paint run off. All right, you really want your paint to run, you know, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, at least with that size popsicle stick, you at least want it to run 5+ seconds. Okay. Just little pointers here and there that I've noticed that has helped me make sure that I got the right consistency that works for myself. You know, if you feel the need to change it later on, by all means, do it. All right, so I'm not going to use this right now. I am going to cover this. I have my window open And if you have your window open, keep your paints covered because they will develop a film pretty quickly, especially if there's a lot of air like what I've got right now. Alright, so Prism Violet and bronze is done. Then wipe your popsicle stick. No, I was going to add dimethicone into there, but I'm not going to do it because the piece that I'm using is pretty small, so I'm going to use a smaller cup, and I'll add the dimethicone in there when I'm prepping the surface. Alright, so this is my Prussian Blue. I had this one covered, and it's still spot on, so yeah, I'm happy with that. These little cups that I've got here, they're going to hold up my dolphins. Just like that. Okay. You can put, you know, as many as you want. 2 is sufficient for me. So here, I pre-mixed earlier my Dioxazine Purple in a 12-ounce bottle, along with metallic Cobalt blue. I don't know what's blue about this. I just see turquoise every time I look at it. But Artist Loft and Liquitex Basic. Okay. There's no silicone in either of these. I am going to pour these into a smaller cup and add the dimethicone. For the dolphins, I do want cells. So I'm using these 2 colors and white. I might even put a string of silver in it after I do the pour. I'm not sure if I've decided on it yet or not. There is silicone in my silver already. So I am going to add silicone to these 2 colors, not to the white. I normally don't ever add silicone to the white. Okay. So for my flip cups, I'm using the smaller 3-ounce cups. This is my white also. Yes, it is in a Dawn bottle. Oh. Alright, so whatever you start off with will come out on top. So I want my purple to come out on top. So I'm going to pour some purple into this guy right here. Just like that. Always wipe the edge of it. If not, when you put your caps on, it will dry and harden. So I'm using the coconut hair milk. Where did I put it? Where did it go? There it is. Just a drop, okay? Like that, one pump. I have a smaller stick as well. Just give it just a couple swirls. All right, that's it. You know what? That is really thick. Great. Well, so much for that. Could have added some water to it. Now I'm going to let this, I'm going to pause the camera and I am going to let it sit so the silicone can return. That's still really, really thick to me. Hi, Link. My doggy is in here to visit with me again. So, Dioxazine Purple is one of the heaviest pigmented paints there is. I think that'll be alright. The next step, I was going to put more Floetrol in it. I wasn't going to put any more of this mixture in it. But yeah. I'm going to check this before. God, I just love this color. Okay, I'm just going to scrape my stick off. These colors are just meant for each other. Yeah, see, that's kind of thick too. Just a little bit of water at a time, because you can always add more, but you can't take it away. Well, I think that's going to be all right too. So, I'm only going to put a tiny bit. Yeah, maybe like that. That's good. And this one I will swirl gently. Okay. Now, this will be my flip cup for the one, and then I'll come back and make another flip cup for the second. Um, I might use a palette knife for this. When you're smoothing out your paint, don't put any pressure. It's very easier said than done. You kind of just want it to glide smoothly across. And then, you know, get your edges as well. And a lot of the times you can just kind of use your edge and just pull it around, or you can grab some paint that has already dripped off and come back. And come under it too sometimes. Okay. Normally I would pause and not make you guys sit through this anymore, but since it's small. Alright, I think we're just, that's a bubble. serious? That stupid fruit fly really just came. Did you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but a fruit fly really just came and landed on my dolphin. My bird is like a fruit fly magnet, and she eats fresh fruit every single day. And what's going on here? Why do I have so many air bubbles here? But alcohol was supposed to take care of it. I hope my alcohol isn't bad. Let's put another splash of alcohol in here. Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to gently stir this. I mean, worst case scenario, I just gotta use my torch, but all right. My flip cup. So, purple. Turquoise. I'm pouring the white up high because I want that to mix. Purple. Turquoise. White on top. Purple again. Turquoise. And then white. These guys I am going to tilt on an angle so they can start, you know, collecting in case I need that and need more paint. So we're going to let that sit here for a second. Okay, so I'm going to get my gloves on. I'm going to try to go pretty quick with this. I was going to do a flip cup, and I decided that I'm just going to do a dirty pour on both of them. Go across quickly, and then tilt. I am going to draw an X in my cup. It just mixes it a little bit. Not too much. Oh, I forgot. This guy right here. This guy right here. It's just a lot easier to get that covered now and have to worry about that later. All you want is just the sides covered. If I was not recording, I would have made these thinner, but I'm not worried about it. I know it's going to be okay. Okay. The silver I will use, I believe, just to do something different. All right. I'm probably going to set my gloves on fire. Isn't that funny? Just popping any air bubbles. Here we go. I have no problem swiping the dorsal fin right there. Okay, dolphin number 1 is complete. almost don't even want to touch this guy, how pretty he is. I mean, I have to move just a little bit. But man, is it pretty. I don't wanna. Did I say I was going to add silver? I lied. Oh gosh, so pretty. Yeah. We are not touching it. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Those colors are just fantastic together. So you can also like scoop a little bit of that up, and you can, like, you know, kind of come across wherever. You might need to, like, see how that one fin back there is all purple. You can kind of come in like this and add just a, you know, a little contrast to it. I don't know, maybe I'll even, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But that's okay, because I got plenty of this right here. I'll just tilt, just to let a little bit of the runoff off. Gosh, that is just so pretty. I'm going to give you guys a close-up in just a second here. So anyway, that is how you get cells. You know, there's really not much to it. As long as you follow, you know, those guidelines, it works. Look at that. He's got like a turquoise, like, coming through. So pretty. Here, let's give you guys the close-up. And 3 colors: Dioxazine Purple, Metallic Cobalt Blue, which we know how I feel about that, and white. With dollar store dolphins. Well, guys, if you have any questions or comments, or if you think there's anything I could have done better to make the video better, then by all means drop a comment. And I've got so many other things. I have big fish like these coming next, and I can't wait to get involved in that. Anyway, thank you so much again for watching, and you have a great night.